So how are you two doing today?
Very well, thanks.
Very well, thanks. How are you?
Flarkin' fantastic. I've been just rocking and
Flarkin'?
rolling all day.
Flarkin'.
Yeah,
I love that. I'm taking that. Flarkin'.
I've been playing too much Guardians of the Galaxy on PlayStation these days, so and it's stuck with me ever since. So this show looks huge. I was just talking to Stacey and Ryan and Christie, pretty much the entire cast. So really quick, how would you two describe your characters for the Ark?
I would say that my character starts off a certain way and she does change. So the first cat that you see is self-absorbed, and I wouldn't say selfish because that just seems very negative. I think she's childlike, and she goes about her life in a kind of entitled way, like a toddler might, or like a child might. But she's wily, and she knows how to play people to get what she wants.
That's a good description. And for you?
Yeah, I think Dr. Kabir she goes on quite an intense personal journey. But yeah, I think she's kind of discovering like the reservoirs of her own strength, because she is being thrown into the deep end right from the get-go. With no real support, but she is an incredible, you do get such a sense of how much she cares, which I think is where a lot of the pressure that she puts on herself comes from, as well as, I think she genuinely loves what she does. She genuinely cares about people, and then she feels the weight of this responsibility all on her shoulders, because very early on, it all goes very wrong real quick, and we lose so many of our leadership. So yeah, she goes on a very kind of like heightened journey.
I'm going to say, speaking of the word heightened, so Shalini and Christina, from what I saw, now to be completely transparent, I did see only the opening 5 minutes, but from what I saw there, oh my God, you look like you're going to be going through a lot, to say the least. And
yeah,
it seems like there's quite a bit of intensity and hidden scenes throughout the entire season. I have to ask, when those scenes do come into play, what's something you two do to keep the heightened feel as those scenes are going along?
I think it's, you mean in terms of with what happens on the spaceship at the very beginning, or
Yes.
just generally?
I mean, honestly, just generally, really.
Yeah, I think it's kind of because the stakes are written into the text so strongly that it's kind of, you can't really drop the stakes, so you can't ever really forget how high the stakes are. And I think everybody's emotional life is just like, it's like, like on the highest possible frequency. So yeah, it's kind of, it is something you always have to be mindful of, but it's also, you can't really forget it as well in a show like this.
I saw this that's
Yeah.
brilliant. I just gotta tell you.
I feel like we kind of help each other through it, really. Like you kind of feed off each other's energy. And it being like an ensemble piece, like you really do have like a sense of everybody in it together. And
now, speaking of ensemble, I was just talking to Christie, Richard, and Reece, and I'm gonna ask you two this as well. So speaking of the ensemble, describe that first day of filming when you first got on set and meeting everybody, to that last day when the director yelled cut, and how the energy compared to both days.
Oh, that's a great question.
That's a good question. So you and I actually, Christina, we weren't in on the very first day.
Oh,
right? Yeah. So our first day came a little bit later, and I think both of our first days was the same.
Oh, I know what it was.
Yeah. So it was, I definitely felt the nerves, and I remember feeling I was just like, whoa, kind of stepping onto set for the first time and seeing our spaceship, which was so freaking cool. And then yeah, I kind of I remember feeling incredibly nervous and kind of like I unsure, like this was new territory. And then by the end, you know, it felt like home, and also I was complete emotional mess.
Oh, we all were when they, oh my God, we were all crying on the last day.
Oh,
cried
no.
But you know
cried
what?
that last scene, yeah.
One thing that really just, like, when you thinking the first day and the last day and the difference, one massive difference is you've got to know the crew. And
Yeah.
that is such a cool thing about filming something for such a long time, is that you really get to know everybody and everybody's different jobs, and so it feels very different. It feels more and more collaborative as you go on.
Oh, 100%. And we had an amazing crew, like
Nice.
unbelievable crew.
Love them.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, I'm gonna ask you guys something. I think it's a very fun, because I've been asking Dean and everybody else this, and they love this one. So considering how the sci-fi genre has a huge sandbox and full of different IP, gotta ask, if you could pluck your two characters and put them in a different sci-fi setting or different world, which world would you put your characters in?
Oh my God.
Wow. I mean, does Cat fit in any of those well? I was just thinking how hilarious Cat would be in any of the other sci-fi worlds. Just like, wow, like in Star Wars or something. Imagine.
You know, speaking of which,
Cat with a lightsaber.
what was it?
Oh, I
Ryan,
would love to see us in Star Wars.
legitimately, Ryan said the exact same thing. I'm not even kidding.
Really?
Yeah, Ryan was like, I want to go in Star Wars, and Stacey was like, yeah, Star Wars would sound pretty legit, actually. I was just going like, if I hear that answer again, I'm gonna laugh so
Maybe
hard.
it's the
Yes, I
posters
got
there.
it.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone
Yeah.
was reminded.
All right,
But
so then
probably-
the four of us, you'll find us in Star Wars.
Oh, you know what? I'm getting ideas. I'm gonna pitch this to Dean and Jonathan the
crossover.
moment I can.
Yeah.
This would be the greatest crossover ever, man. So,
Be the best
guys,
crossover.
so Christina and Shalini, I just want to say thank you two so much for taking the time to talk with me today. It looks awesome. I can't wait to see the Hide and Rowdy you take us all throughout the entire first season. Have a great day, and congratulations, guys. Seriously, thank you. It's an honor to talk to you guys.
Thank you so much.
It's so much fun talking to you. Thank you.
Hope you enjoy the show.
Rock the Flark on, guys. That's all I'm going to say about
Flark. I love it.
Yes.
We're taking that. Flark. I love that.
Hit like, smash subscribe, and get notified for when our reviews, interviews, and news go live.